What's up, guys? It is Mark. We are in the lab today and we are going to be installing the FabFours ViCowl on a Jeep JK. So stay tuned. As usual, step one is go ahead and open everything up. We've got everything pretty much laid out. We have the ViCowl itself. We also have the bracket here that is a separate bracket if you're going to be running light pods, which is this one is going to be. They do have other ones if you're running light bar. So make sure you guys figure out what you want to do with that before it's time to install the ViCowl. So we've got everything laid out right now. We're going through the materials from the instruction sheet, making sure we've got all the hardware we need. Not really much going into it as far as to attach the ViCowl. It's going to use a lot of the factory stuff, but let's get started. So next up, you need to grab a T40. I'm using a longer breaker bar here. We're going to go ahead and take these guys off right here. I like to go ahead, especially if you've never had them loosened up, use the longer breaker bar. That way you just get a little leverage on it. Sometimes they get a little click in there, a little pop in there. And then once I've got them all loosened up, I'm going to switch over to the electric ratchet. So we're going to go ahead and remove these factory pieces on both sides. Instructions say we're not going to reuse these, but we're going to hold on to the hardware. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the cowl, which you need to take the wipers off to get to. All right, so we went ahead and got these guys removed. Now we've got the T30 and we're gonna go ahead and take this cowl off. If you notice too, we already went ahead and got the windshield wipers off. That was a 13mm nut. And then you might need like a flathead screwdriver to go ahead and just separate those, get a little angle on there and they pop right off. I love electric tools. So once you got that hardware out of there, this guy, we're just gonna go ahead and pull him out. There are a couple little push pins down in there we're gonna get with. So we're gonna take this off, clean all this up here. Anytime I remove anything, I try to clean. Obviously this Jeep's been off-road, so that's our next step. We got everything removed. Again, there's a lot of crud, a lot of dirt on this Jeep, so we're gonna go ahead and get out the shop vac. We're gonna clean all this up, spray some water on it, wipe everything down, and get ready for the next step. The next part is actually gonna be removing these little side cowl pieces. Now, typically with a factory fender down here, you're gonna have some little spot welds. I believe there's 4 of them on each side. What they're telling you to do is the 2 bolts that are up here, go ahead and loosen those. They want you to actually bend that back so that you can get to those spot welds and go ahead and drill them out. Now this Jeep already has the XRC fenders from Smittybilt, so luckily that's already been done with us. So once those are gone, you're now ready for the next step. If not, go ahead and take a break, guys. Go ahead and drill those out right here along the top and get this guy out of the way on both sides of the Jeep. Now, once you've got everything removed, if you still have the plastic leaf guard installed, go ahead and remove that. Again, when you were removing the cowl, I'll show you here, there was 4 little clips on the top. If you pulled those 4 clips off, then the leaf guard would be still right here in the center. We actually gotten pretty good at just maneuvering it and keeping that and having it pop off. It's the same thing, it's just some little plastic tab. So we already have that off. But if you need to do that, go ahead and remove that leaf guard. And now this whole area should be completely open for the next steps. Now that pretty much concludes removing of everything that is factory on the Jeep. And we're gonna move on now to the actual ViCowl and the ViCowl parts itself. So this could vary depending on what you're going for. It does include this little cover here. However, we are going to be running the pod light, so we had to buy an extra part, which is right there. So we're going to go ahead and mount our lights to this, and then we're going to get this installed to the ViCowl before we move on to anything else. We went ahead and got this installed. The lights are all done. They're all wired. Up here we used a 3/16. Underneath the nut we used a 13. So we've got the nut, washer, bolt, washer, nut on there. There's 10 of these. They're all the smaller ones that come in the hardware kit. We did leave these a little bit loose. We're gonna adjust them once they're actually up on the Jeep. So there it is. We do have the pigtails over here for the wire. We'll finish that all up once we get it on the Jeep. But you can see, again, this is an extra kit if you want the lights. If not, you're just gonna get this guy and install it using the same hardware that came with the ViCowl itself. So if you get the lights, there's no extra hardware here. It's already supplied when you get the ViCowl itself. Go ahead and grab your bracket here. This is the larger of the 4 that are supplied. We are going to go ahead and mount these here on the pillar using the factory hardware, and we are gonna just go ahead and finger tighten. Now that these brackets are installed, we're gonna grab the other set of brackets. There's 2 more of these guys. We're gonna go ahead and reuse the factory hardware. One's gonna go on this side, one's gonna go on the other, and we're gonna go ahead and finger tighten those. Once you've got all these brackets loosely installed, now is the time to go ahead and grab a buddy, grab a friend, go inside, get the wifey, or go inside, get the boyfriend out the video games. But you're gonna need another hand, because basically now we're gonna pick up the ViCowl, which, as you know from unboxing, is pretty heavy, and we don't wanna risk hitting the glass, damaging the hood, especially this one that's got an aftermarket hood. We're gonna go ahead and grab a friend and get this thing going. We got our help. We got the ViCowl, on. Now we had to lift open the hood. And the reason why I actually have this one propped with wood is because this is an aftermarket hood. And you can see it's pretty close there. So I didn't want to extend it all the way open. But now you're gonna take the 2 larger nuts, washers, and we're gonna go ahead and thread that right inside here on both sides to get this secure on the bottom. Then we're gonna use the other 4 bolts to go up top here and go ahead and start securing the ViCowl. That bolt there is loosely in, that one is loosely in also. So now we're gonna go ahead and take a look here. Our holes are pretty good lined up. If not, you could always take a tool in there, pry a little bit, but we're on to our next set of washers and nuts. We're gonna install the 2 here and the 2 on the other side. So we got these 2 on both sides. We've got these guys here. Now it is time to go ahead and secure everything. For these guys up here, we are using a 9/16 wrench, and a 7/32 Allen key. Now I do want to add one thing, guys, that helped me is the bolt that goes in here in the bottom. Again, you had that other bracket. I left those somewhat, again, finger tight still. And the reason why is it helps with the fitment and getting everything and that bolt lined up inside. These you do have to tighten before you put the ViCowl on. I forgot to mention that, simply just because you're not gonna be able to get to them after that. But since this one we can reach down in here, I'm gonna go ahead and take my 10mm again, tighten those 2 bolts up in there, and we're getting towards the end. Well, guys, that's going to be it. I'm just going to go ahead and adjust the lights up top, run the wires for that. But other than that, the ViCowl is done. Pretty simple install, I would say. You only need a second person just to help put that thing on, unless you got a nice little hoist or something in your shop. Other than that, basic tools, man. The electric ratchet was awesome to help. Couple Allen keys, couple Torx bits, and a wrench is about it. So I'd say it took us maybe 2 hours, just because the light bar took a little bit longer to do. If you don't have those light pods or the light bar, it's gonna go a lot quicker. But very simple install, pretty good instructions from FabFours. So thanks to the company for putting out good instructions, which we know in this industry seems to be a little bit tough, but so I always want to give credit where credit is due. So thank you again, FabFours, for that. Other than that, guys, simple install. Recommend you guys can do it in your garage. If you have any questions, comments, put them below. Don't forget, if you have any questions, anything else, look at our other videos. Maybe we can address something there. But we always try to give feedback to or respond to any questions that you guys ask. So also subscribe, hit the notification button, and we will see you on the next video.